Good morning, everybody. This is Patrick MontesDeOca with the Equity Management Academy live trading room, live streaming in YouTube. We're going to jump right into the market here and take a look at gold, silver, and GBTC, which is the grayscale Bitcoin investment trust. Let's jump right into the gold market here. As you can see, we've had a pretty wide range here with the market coming down below the average price of 1803, and the average, it came down into the buy one level and buy two range of about 1797 to 1786. And as you can see, the market reverted from this area that the AI, or the variable changing price momentum indicator, is confirming that these levels here are oversold. This is what the AI identifies as accumulation of supply. It tells you here that even though the price may be coming down below 1796.80, potentially down to 1786, that you do not want to go short. You do not want to sell here. This is an area where you want to buy. And the buy signal actually was activated on a close above 1796. The target was completed right away of 1803, and the algo went neutral again. It meets the target, it goes neutral, and it waits for the next signal, the next highest probability signal. And in this case, the market closed below the average price, activated a bearish price momentum with a target again of 1796.97. And as you can see, the market did not quite come down to that level because it found buyers at higher levels than the buy one level. And it reverted right back up. As you can see, it showed on this green bar, moving up again and testing that 1803, which is the average price. So what we have seen in terms of the gold market is that it has established a trading range, which is now 1789, and the upper end of that range is about 1735. Now, if you take a look at the chart here, on the right of this chart, we have the weekly signals, and the market coming down to a low of 1789.10 activated again the weekly signal by closing above it after testing, and it closed at 1795. This signal came in at 4:30 a.m. It's funny, that's exactly when I woke up. It almost like you can feel the market after a while, even in your sleep, if you've been doing this too long. Anyway, it activated a buy signal here at 4:30 at 1795, and automatically it gives you the targets above automatically. The first one was 97, and then 1803 was the main target. And you can see here the market accomplished that at 5:30 a.m. Most traders in the US obviously are are not awake yet. So there seems to be a lot of activity going on in the Globex at night when everybody's asleep or when the U.S. market is closed, or most U.S. markets are closed. Not too many traders are familiar with trading in Globex, which is literally trading 23 hours a day. Coming back to the market here, 1803 was the target. It went neutral. It came back down again. 1797.10 at 6:30 a.m. and activated another buy trigger. So it's been trading between the buy one level and the average price of 1803. It's been trading between 1797 and 1803. Right now, it's on a buy mode from 1798. So, you know, in for all practical purposes, you can use the 1797 as your protective level, conservatively as one of the stops. And 1803 is the target. Now, if we get through 1803 and close above 1803, then we pretty much are going to be activating the 1813 target on the daily, and 1813 is the weekly target, which has been activated at 4:30 a.m. So you can see almost the waves or the patterns rolling from the daily into the weekly, and eventually after the weekly, let's say, closes above 1857, which is the extreme level above the mean, we're going to be looking at some higher fractals in price. So what I want to say to my traders here, particularly in the trading room, that we're going through the same process together here, that I believe we're looking at what is beginning to establish a very solid trading range with a bottom at about 1789, 1790, and the upper end of the range is 1735. So I think this is a very critical range, and breaking either one of these ranges here obviously would put us into a lower or a higher fractal in price. And if we break, let's say, that 1791 level, again, on the weekly, you're looking at the daily below of 1786, and the buy two weekly still is at 1767, obviously for the remainder of this week until we come into next week. Let's take a look at silver here. It's also been a bit choppy for the silver, activating a buy trigger from the 2520 daily, and for us it activated the buy trigger around the 2504, in that vicinity, even a bit lower. It completed the targets above, and what you see here is the market on the daily coming down below the average price, activating a bearish price momentum with a target of 2520 completed from 2536 to 2520. Now, silver is in an area that is called, again, accumulation of supply. It gave you a buy trigger here, almost completing the target again of 2536. The high was 2535. So we gave you enough juice, you might say, for you to use a trailing stop. Coming down below this level, if you were conservative, obviously, it took you out or before on a trailing stop. But for now, where we are in silver is basically trading between the daily level of buy one of 25.20 and the weekly level of 25.04. It is in an area that we call blue, and so it is in an area of accumulation of supply. It's telling you the probabilities are greater to buy the market from these levels in blue, even though the probability still could see the price come down and test these levels. It recommends, if it does and it validates the reversion, that's your strongest trigger point. So it seems that in the silver too, as well, is testing support once again, but it is in an oversold condition. The VCPMI variable changing price momentum indicator has put out special alerts this week. And one of them has been in a digital asset that we are trading called GBTC. I want to focus for a minute on the report, and you might not be able to hear this, but you can go to my just put latest from Patrick MontesDeOca. You go to my channel, and you can click on the GBTC Grayscale Bitcoin Investment Trust special alert. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear this. If you can hear this, I just want to review the levels that it's using basically, and explain to you a little more in terms of the artificial intelligence filters that we use. The weekly trend momentum is the weekly simple moving average that we use as a filter in addition on these reports to give us a kind of a general idea of where the trend momentum is going. This is the first filter. And the 9-week moving average is at 29, and the price basically closing at 26.20 below 29 is giving us a bearish trend momentum. This is how the algorithm identifies the bearish or bullish sentiment. The market closing below the 9-week simple moving average of 29 is confirmation that the trend momentum is bearish. And this describes pretty much the easy language coding that is used in the algorithm. What you're looking at is a simplified form of the easy language that we use in coding the algorithm in TradeStation. And it gives you a very clear picture. It gives you a very objective, unemotional picture. And so once you interpret the AI, and it tells you the market closing below the 9-day week simple moving average of 29 is confirmation that the trend is bearish. It also tells you the alternative, that a close above the 9-day week simple moving average would negate the weekly bearish short-term trend to neutral. So this indicator, this filter tells you that the price trading below the weekly trend momentum is bearish, but it also tells you that if it closes above this price, it negates this bearishness to neutral. And then obviously another close above 29 activates the buy trigger for that pattern. Let's follow the rest, and I can get into more detail. On the second filter that we use, basically, is called the weekly price momentum. And what this does is it gives you the price momentum. The VCPMI stands for the variable changing price momentum indicator. And this is the mean of the structure of the VCPMI. And so once we can, extrapolate the average price, then it gives us an idea of how we can identify and extrapolate the extremes above or below this mean. And it tells you clearly the weekly price momentum of 33 is bearish. With the market closing below the VC weekly price momentum indicator of 33, it confirms that the price momentum is bearish. But it also tells you that if we do close above 33, it would negate the bearish signal to neutral. So now we have the second filter of 33 telling you that this would activate the price momentum from bearish to neutral. So we have the 9-week moving average at 29. We have the VCPMI at 33. So now we know the ceiling, if broken above this price, is what to expect. On this segment here, on these filters, the weekly price indicator gives you the extreme levels above or below the mean of 33 that we looked at just previously. And so it tells you here that if you are short, to cover the on corrections at the 30, 20 to 29 levels and go long on a weekly reversal stop. That means that anytime during the week, if the price comes down into these levels and it closes above, that is a weekly reversal stop. And if it activates a long or a buy, start using the 29 level as your protective level. And it tells you stop close only, which means that only if the market closes below that level, you get stopped out. The market could come down through that level and come back up again. That means that you should still be in the position. And I would suggest just Google, orders and Google stop close only, what it means, and you'll be very familiar with the logic of using this order. And also, good till cancel order means that the order will be active unless you cancel it, until you cancel it. It also tells you that if you're long, look to take some profits on your longs as it reaches the 3407 to 3628 levels during the week. This signal was put out yesterday at on the 22nd, and we are moving in the right direction as we take a look of GBTC here. This is the signal that we saw yesterday, reverted right back after testing the buy 2 level of 2482. We made a low at 2401 and just reverted from those levels, activating a buy trigger from the buy 2 level and the buy 1 level. And so far we've made a high of 2747, and the target is 2792 initially. Let's go back to gold here. We are reverting once again from the buy 1 level of 1797. It's in a trading range between the buy 1 and the average price of 1803. So the strategy here for gold is to buy corrections into that 1797. If you're day trading, your first target is 1803. A close above 1803 activates 1813. Let's take a look at some of the other digital assets here that we are holding. GDLC is the grayscale digital trust that trades pretty much a diversified basket of digital currencies. And that's up nicely here this morning. Coinbase is with a bit of a bearish mode here, entering into an accumulation level of supply level here at the 222, 223. Let's watch the market here for a little bit and see what it takes. But it looks like it's trying to consolidate here at these levels. been a quiet morning so far from any kind of news. The 10-year note is trading at 129, 129.50, up about 2.19%, slightly higher. So trading in that range now, about 130 here for a few days. And the stock market continues to move up on the face of all this economic news, and particularly getting a lot of help here from the bond market. The last couple of weeks, we've seen a rally pretty much in the price, and that basically means the lower yields have become very prominent in the bond market, and it seems to be contrary to the general consensus that we're running a heated economy and we're running highly inflationary levels. And that remains to be seen. And also, we want to see the commentary made or the commentary that's coming from the FOMC meeting here as we get closer to the next meeting here at the end of the month. Pretty quiet day. There's really not that much news coming out here. So we want to continue to be patient with the metals here, as I believe this area once again in below 1800 is a solid area of support, and we're in a trading range all the way up to about 1835. So continue to buy into the 1800 and take some profits at 1835 until the market confirms and breaks through that. And just be aware that the volatility is great, and we probably are going to enter higher levels of volatility here as we move forward here for the rest of the year. Thank you again for the opportunity to share this with you. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us. Click on subscribe, click on like, so that we can continue to provide you with this incredible intelligence on a daily basis. In the meantime, my friends, thank you again. Have a great trading day. We'll talk to you soon.